Before we start, I feel like I owe you an explanation. To make my videos more professional, I bought a teleprompter. So behind this is my camera, and here is the text that I read. That I write the script before, and then I read the text on on the monitor, and it's supposed to make it more fluent. But this video is my first one using the prompter, so it looks really awkward, like I'm trying to hypnotize you with my eyes. So I'm sorry for that. I know I have a long way to go and a lot of things to learn, and you are free to roast me in the comments. And now let's go to the main content. Class D amps come in all shapes, sizes, and configurations. It seems that every new model is targeted to a smaller niche than the previous one. One of the recent AIYIMA's models, A80, seems to be a general purpose unit. Before we dig deeper into the main character of today's video, I'd like to say a few words about AIYIMA as a company. And there is a good reason for that, since they're celebrating their 10th anniversary right now. How do I know? Because they sent me a very nice influencer gift box containing, let's see, a magnet. Yes, it's a magnet. A connector cable. That's very useful. There's never enough cables. And a precision screwdriver set, which would also be very useful, if not for the fact that I've just bought a similar one 2 weeks ago. Anyway, AIYIMA is one of those Chinese companies that have disrupted the hi-fi industry in recent years with their affordable products like amplifiers, preamplifiers, and DACs. Finally, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars or euros for audio gear that reproduces high-quality music and tweak your system with different combinations of inexpensive separates. And for some, myself included, tweaking their gear is almost as important as the music itself. And now let's finally focus on the A80 amplifier. Actually, it's not just an amplifier, it's also a very capable DAC, which makes it an almost all-in-one system that should meet the needs of most people. Just add speakers, connect your phone via Bluetooth or your TV via an optical cable, and you're good to go. It's worth noting that the current price on Amazon or AliExpress is 195 US dollars. I'll put the links to both in the description below so you can check if it went up or down. Let's briefly go through its specs and features. It's a Class D amplifier based on the most popular chip out there, TPA 3255 from Texas Instruments. The DAC is ESS 9038Q2M. It also includes a Bluetooth 5.1 chip, components from established manufacturers like Rubicon or AIYIMA, as well as replaceable op-amps. I wanted to take the unit apart to verify it and show you the internals, but I couldn't figure out how to do it since the main plate was connected to both the front and the back plate. By now, we've grown quite used to the fact that Class D amps measure well. The A80 is no exception in this regard. 109 dB signal-to-noise ratio, total harmonic distortion at 0.006%. Output power is dictated by the external power adapter. My unit arrived equipped with a 48-volt 5 ampere brick, which translates to roughly 100 watts into 8 ohms and 120 watts into 4 ohms. So basically plenty of power for most speakers to play really loud. Low signal distortion levels in the A80 can be in part credited to the PFFB design, which translates to post-filter feedback. As the name suggests, it compares samples of the signal that is coming out of the filters with the original signal and corrects any errors and distortions. I believe AIYIMA was the first affordable audio manufacturer to implement it in their amplifiers, namely A70. I first experienced this with fuzzy audio V3 mono amps. The most notable thing outside is this amp's display, I guess. Oh, uh, there is a plastic film on it. Oh, oh, ooh. How satisfying is that? I really can't understand people who keep those plastic wraps and stickers on their gear. It triggers my OCD. If you agree with me, give this video a like. If you don't, let me know in the comments why. I really want to know, even though it's not going to change my mind. Yeah, the display. It's a 3-inch color OLED display that can be turned into analog, well, sort of, view meters. In total, you have 3 designs to choose from, 2 analog meters and 1 digital that looks like an equalizer. Besides that, you can adjust tone controls, both bass and treble, choose between inputs and adjust display brightness. It can be controlled using the dial, which is pretty nice to operate, but you don't necessarily have to get up from your sofa with this one because it comes with a fully functioning remote control. Since I've mentioned inputs, it's only fair that we take a peek at the back of this unit. And it's packed with holes of different shapes and sizes. And one rod, the Bluetooth antenna. So we have 2 analog inputs, single-ended RCA and balanced TRS. It's a shame that the entire amp architecture is not balanced, but that's often a compromise at this price point. There are also 3 digital inputs, optical, they are here, optical, coaxial, and USB-C, which is nice because it allows you to connect it directly to your computer and use it as a desktop amp. In the middle, we have a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary out and 12-volt trigger in. It means that this unit can be woken up together with another device it's hooked up to, your TV, for example. On the right, we have a set of speaker binding posts. They're not full size, I believe, but they're gold-plated and accept all types of connections: bare wires, spades, and banana plugs. Next to it, we have the last hole, which is the power adapter input socket. There is no internal power supply, and you have to rely on an external brick, which has its advantages because you can upgrade it later on by, for example, buying a more powerful one or by getting a linear power supply. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, how it sounds. Well, in general, it sounds transparent. By that, I mean that it reproduces the music true to the source as far as I can tell. Everything's clean like your mom's windows before Easter. In Poland, we do spring cleaning of our houses before Easter, which also includes cleaning all your windows. The highs are neither sparkly, metallic, nor ear-piercing. The mids are intelligible and full. And the bass, well, the bass is tight, well-controlled, without any hint of muddiness. I don't consider myself a bass head. Hell, I don't even have a subwoofer at home. But this was the most disappointing aspect of the A80 for me. It just doesn't have the depth and punch I'd like to hear and feel. I tested it with various speakers from ELAC Debut 2.0 to Polk Reserve R200 and even Wharfdale Lintons. ELACs are pretty neutral and you could hear that clearly with this combo. Polks are bass heavy, but I heard almost nothing below 80 Hz. Even the Lintons, which are warm and deep sounding, couldn't compensate for this amp's bass limitations. But maybe it's just me and my 50-year-old ears damaged by Metallica and scuba diving, or my rooms that are not acoustically treated beyond carpets and heavy curtains. Or maybe it's this PFFB technology that strips amps of deep bass, because with the V3 monos from Fuzzy Audio, I had similar observations. One could say, get a subwoofer. Well, I could, but the A80 doesn't have a proper subwoofer output, even though it's advertised as a 2.1 amplifier. Technically, you can hook up an active subwoofer using the aux out, but you won't be able to control its volume with the amp, so it's a half measure for my taste. I know AIYIMA makes their own active subwoofer and passive speakers, so perhaps the A80 should be paired with those. Hey AIYIMA, if you're watching this video, send me your sub and speakers and I'll gladly redo the tests. Thanks. To sum up, the AIYIMA A80 is a compelling offer if you're not after deeper bass in your music or movies. At $195, you get a pretty powerful and accurate amplifier, a DAC, multiple input connections for your digital and analog sources, as well as Bluetooth 5.1. The remote control and color screen make this unit easy to operate, and external power supply can be upgraded later on. And here is my wish list that would make this amp perfect. More bass, proper subwoofer out, possibly with an adjustable high-pass filter, fully balanced architecture, XLR inputs instead of TRS. They're much more popular, at least in my setup. So what do you say, AIYIMA? Are you up for this challenge? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. It will help me create more content and expand our community of regular folks interested in music and audio gear. Thanks.